Every year when school was out, my parents would send my siblings and me to stay with our grandparents in their mountain house. This was cause of great celebration for my parents. I can imagine them doing the jitterbug on their kitchen linoleum floor in great celebration that all 5 of us were gone. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. This morning I'm going to share some simple memories with you. Memories that I had staying with my grandparents, Grozy and Fotter, in their mountain house. Pass that around. I remember hearing Fotter's heavy footsteps walking across the uneven cabin floor. Fotter was a vigorous, large man. He had massive calves and large calloused hands, and rumor has it that he could pick up an anvil with his middle finger and swing it around as if it was a feather. Fotter would light the furnace for us in the morning, and I remember being tucked in my bed with my flannel nightgown on that my grandmother made for me that would even be modest for a nun, and tucked under the sheets that she made out of seed sacks that were rough, but they were still cozy because she made them with her loving hands. I would wait in that bed for that match to light, and I could smell that sulfur burning before I got up so I could go sit by the furnace. Well, as Fotter was clanging around in the furnace, my grandmother would be clanging around in the kitchen. Every meal started with either unsalted butter or slab bacon in her well-seasoned cast iron pan. She was a gourmet cook and she didn't even know it. I think she was the originator of farm to table. If she didn't grow it or raise it and butcher it, she bought it within a 10-mile radius. She made wonderful things out of that cast iron pan. What I remember the best are her crepes that were as delicate as doilies. After breakfast, we would have the flag raising ceremony. Now, my grandparents were from Switzerland. Grozy and Fotter meet Granny and Father in Swiss. They were off the boat through Ellis Island, not a word of English, immigrants from Switzerland. We would raise the flag every morning, and this was a very revered task. The American flag would always be placed on top of the Swiss flag because my grandparents were very proud to be Americans. After the flag ceremony, we would have morning roll call, and Grozy wanted to make sure that we knew what the family business was and also what the family rules were. Now, one of the family rules was the 2-square rule, and I'm not talking about square dancing. We were allotted 2 squares of toilet paper for all of us kids. This was strictly adhered to, and the reason being is sometimes we had over 10 people staying with us with one bathroom. So for the safety and welfare of the septic system, it was a rule that had to be adhered to. The other thing Grozy was very concerned with is everything running smoothly, if you know what I mean. She would ask all of us children in her sing-song Swiss voice, "Now, did everyone go this morning?" Now, this was a good time to lie to your grandmother, because if you didn't, it would be a concoction of prunes, torture tea, and some sort of castor oil. After all this was taken care of, we were allowed to run and play all day. We built forts, we would look for Indian ruins, we would sniff around the Indian reservation, and oftentimes my grandparents would go walking with us, and they were not only farm to table people, they were good at foraging. They would tell us the different things we could eat. So I remember picking watercress in the cool streams. We would pick chamomile, which actually looks kind of like a weed, except it's got those delicate flowers, and we would peel manzanita bark off of manzanita bushes and make tea as well. So we had a lot of fun doing that. Now, Grozy loved all creatures, great and small. She especially loved dogs, but there was one particular dog across the street that barked all night. Grozy, being the smart and resourceful woman that she was, she solved the problem. She took a nice little piece of that slab bacon and shoved a few salmonex in there. And on her evening walk, she casually threw that piece of bacon over the fence. It was a win-win. My grandmother got to sleep all night, and the dog had a new best friend. I could go on and on sharing these beautiful memories that I have with you. My grandparents were brave. They were fearless coming to this country, leaving beautiful Switzerland and coming to the Imperial Valley Desert to farm this dry and dusty land, and they were very successful. But I want to leave you with one final thought. If you see a little old Swiss lady trying to feed your dog, beware. It might be something other than a milk bone dog biscuit. Mr. Toastmaster.